Good morning, everyone. It's Elsie. Hope you are having a great day. I actually didn't post this until the afternoon yesterday. Oh, and my cat, Libby, gets to be in this one. She's very hungry. She's not had her breakfast yet, but she gets fed with an automatic feeder. So, and people said if you get an automatic feeder, your cat or your pet will not bother you anymore. That is a lie. Libby, I tell Libby every time, like, the robot feeds you. I don't feed you. Why are you yelling at me? And she doesn't get it. She also can't tell time. If I were to give my cat one skill, it would be to learn how to tell time so she could see what time she was going to get fed. But alas. Okay, so last night I made an executive decision, and what I decided was to start a different long dog sampler pattern, a smaller one. So I did some calculations here on what size my current fabric is, and I sized out the fabric for a couple other patterns, and they don't even tell you what the size of the pattern is. They just tell you how many stitches wide by how many stitches high. So you take that and decide what count fabric you're going to use. Hopefully Libby's feeder is not too loud. So for instance, I'm using 18 count. So one of the patterns was 157 stitches by 197 stitches. So I have to divide both of those by 18 to find out what size the pattern is, the stitched pattern, and then adding the margin I want on each side, adding that together to find the final size of fabric that I need. So for either of the ones I looked at, I have plenty of fabric. However, one of them was more appropriate to the color of my fabric. And so the pattern I chose, which I purchased last night, is called Queen of Hearts. Okay, so that fits in. The other one was called Fish and Ships. And because it was called Fish and Ships, I thought, and I'm saying ships, fish and ships. I thought maybe I should have blue fabric for that. So I decided on Queen of Hearts in a totally different direction. And so here is Queen of Hearts. All right. It is a 4-page pattern. Okay. I really, 4 pages for me. You know, part of what I think about is the finished product. What am I going to do with the finished product? And if it's just huge, that's what some of the people in my cross stitch groups have drawers of finished cross stitches that they've not done anything with. And I do not intend to create a bunch of cross stitch and then keep it in a drawer or somewhere that's unseen. I actually, interestingly enough, I'm a minimalist, and I think to myself, if I own stuff that has to stay in a box, unless it's something very practical, like a kitchen appliance that I only use occasionally, but why do I own stuff that I keep in a box? Like, why do I even own it if it's not being used or appreciated, right? So I'm not going to create a bunch of cross stitch and then keep it in a box. So I think to myself, what will happen to this cross stitch? A lot of it I make to give away, and some of it I make to keep, but I make to keep it so that I will display it, right? So that's just something that goes through my head when I think about what cross stitch patterns I'm going to do, is what is the final destination or the final purpose of this piece. So I decided to do this Queen of Hearts, and also my birthday is on Valentine's Day, so the Queen of Hearts, is kind of a personal thing for me. So the Queen of Hearts pattern is 157 by 197 stitches. The stitched portion will be roughly 8.5 by 11. So the size of this piece of paper, right? That'll be the stitched area. And it's, you know, got a border, so it's going to be really that size. So my fabric needs to be roughly 15 inches by 17 inches. My current piece of fabric, I think, is 22, I think it's 21 by 23. Well, 23 by 21. So, obviously I've stitched on part of it, but if I unstitch that, that can be part of the margin, right? So, because, yeah, or if I even flip my piece around, I should have plenty. So the next thing I need to do is do some measuring and see where I need to cut this, because I don't want to keep all the extra fabric on the outsides while I'm working on it. It just gets in the way. So then, obviously I'm going to do it single stitch, right? And then I have to decide on the colors. I'm trying to make it interesting, but I also don't want to make it a pain. I did, I might paste it in my video, maybe if I have that much energy, but I saw a really pretty one that someone did, and it was kind of like there was a brown and there was different shades of pink, maroon, red, whatever. Or I can just do it all black, or I could do it all, I have a gray color. Let's see. I was actually looking at colors last night. Let's see. I don't know about the gray though. It's colder, but I have brown that might look good. I have a light pink, but I don't know. I think I need to test some of these. This could possibly be for the crowns, because there are crowns in this too. There's always crowns. Well, this one's called Queen of Hearts, so there had to be crowns. And then I also have this maroon color that I had used for another piece. I have browns. I still like my pink a lot. And then, are these two different grays? I think this is the same color. So they look slightly different. This one is 930. Oh yeah, this one's 5. Oh, that's the blue. Okay, it's very subtle. Yeah, so I also have like a gray blue that's kind of interesting also. So I have like these colors, which are all kind of on the same spectrum. I do like that dark pink color. I could do, let's see, these are both the same. 815, 815, yeah. I could do like most of it in this deep red maroon, and then I could do the actual queens in this brighter pink. That actually is kind of cool looking. And then I could do maybe this brown for something. Anyway, I'm going to decide those. They're all going to be single strand. I have some old, it almost looks the same. I have some of this brown that's on a, it's on a bobbin, they call it. The only issue is that with that is that if you keep them on these bobbins for a long time, especially this one, it's super thin. When you get to the end of it, it's all kinky. And you probably can't tell after you've stitched with it, but yeah, people are always looking for good bobbin. And then I really need to test this pink on the fabric because it might be light enough to show up, but it might not show up at all. And then I thought for a little contrast, maybe this blue, but probably not. I probably won't use that blue. Just trying to emulate what someone else had done, but And then this gray shows up great on this fabric, but I could keep it all warms, and not use the gray. So I've seen people do little like test squares on their fabric. So I might try to do that with these, do some little test squares, especially with the light pink. So yeah, that's, I did a lot of crazy things last night. And one of them was buying a different pattern. It was just having an epiphany and being like, you know what? Maybe I just hate this pattern. So we're going to find out if that's the case, if I just hate that pattern. So this pattern doesn't have quite as many things in it, but it does have a lot of birds, a lot of squirrels. It's got crowns. It's got hearts throughout it, which is cool. And it's got these 3 queens at the bottom, which is very cool. And yeah, there's a bunch of back stitching on it, but I looked at it close up and it's all very straightforward back stitching. Sometimes you have back stitching that just like goes willy-nilly, and is really hard to figure out where to put your stitch in, but this was all very straightforward back stitching, so that was great. And yeah, what else? Oh, and usually there's some place on these samplers to put your name and the date. And so on this one, it was very simple. It's not part of the pattern, but they put it down here on the bottom. And what I love is that they even include a whole alphabet for you. So you can put the alphabet and numbers 0 through 9, so that you can put your signature on it. So yeah, so I'm excited to remeasure and recut my fabric to start this crazy new adventure here, which I think I'm going to enjoy more. And I can always go back someday and restart the other one if I'm feeling like I want to do a 12-page project. So that is my update for today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow.